Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chad Daddy, and I'm honored to be back here with you guys for another exciting evening of entertainment, news, reality. We've had some great shows so far. Last night's show was just absolutely outstanding, and tonight's show is no exception to the rule. Coming up on tonight's show, we'll welcome famed attorney Cannon Lambert. He is the attorney for the family of Sandra Bland, and we'll talk about the present high-profile police brutality cases in America right now and other important issues that we are facing. And we're honored to have attorney Lambert here on the show with us this evening. And then we're also talking about health and fitness tips for men over 40. Once a man reaches 40 years old, his stamina changes, his diet, a lot of his physical activity. So we'll talk tonight on ways that we can help men over 40 with their health and sexual performance. As you guys all know, I've deemed the entire month of August Chat Daddy's Health and Fitness Month. And so every night I plan on having various guests to talk to you about your physical, mental, and spiritual health and wellness well-being. So it should be really an action-packed month. And so today, actually the weather here in the Chicagoland area has been more like a September 4th day than an August 4th day. We're actually experiencing cool temperatures here in the Chicagoland area. When I say cool, we're looking at the low to mid 70s. Actually, it will drop down to under 60 degrees tonight. So a lot of you all can sleep with your windows open this evening if you have the capabilities to do so. Don't invite nobody in your house because you fell asleep with the windows open. I ain't telling you to do that, but you are able to go to sleep tonight, crack that window, and you don't have to worry about humidity. All right, that's a good thing, isn't it? All right, we have a very special guest co-host with us this evening. He is from the Northwest Indiana area. As we say, our cousins over to the left, Gary Hammond, Whiting. You guys know where it is. He is a best-selling author and a business coach. He has clients who he has helped to achieve six-figure income from just his mentoring and coaching. I am honored to welcome him tonight as a guest co-host, but he's been here with us before as a guest on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show, my friend, Brother Sadon Long. Hello, brother. How are you?
Hey, Brother Chad. How are you this evening?
Good, brother. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing just fine. No complaints. Nice, cool night, though. I'm enjoying that.
Yes, it is. And that's what I said. Tonight is an evening where you can actually sleep with your windows open if you have the capabilities to do so. This is more like September weather than early August weather, but not to fret. The August weather will be back next week. There'll be lots of rain and lots of sun and humidity. So, yes. So, Don, do me a favor. Introduce yourself to the audience. Refamiliarize them with who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into hot topics of the day. Glad to have you here.
Well, first of all, it is a blessing to be back once again. I'm Sadon Long, best-selling author of the book called God Wants You to Dominate. I'm a business coach. I work with small businesses who need to market their business and don't know quite what to say or do. I help them figure out what to say so that they can acquire customers to help build sustainable businesses and take care of their families. And once again, Chad, it's just a blessing to be back. I think this is maybe our 5th or 6th time. So I'm just grateful.
Well, good. I'm glad to have you here. And as we always start off on the show, we give the latest COVID statistics and numbers so that people are abreast. With me being here in the Chicagoland area and you being just right across the pond in Northwest Indiana, we can compare our numbers, talk about them. And then I really want to find out how you've been coping through this pandemic. So today, the state of Illinois health officials announced 1,471 new known cases of coronavirus here in the Chicagoland area. Unfortunately, we had 19 additional fatalities, which includes a teenager who died from the coronavirus. And as you guys all know, we were reporting on the show yesterday that the highest number of cases now is the 20-year-old population. The 20 to 29-year-olds, they're the ones who are coming up positive. And that's because they're going to parties, hanging out, no regards for wearing a mask, not heavily socially distancing. You know, they're young. They want to be on each other. They want to be sexy. They want to be cute. And so, you know, there we are with that. The total number.
Grandma would say, As grandma would say, they're hard-headed.
yeah. Or either, as grandma would say, go sit your tail down somewhere. Go sit your little fast tail down. And that's for these boys and these girls. Go sit your little fast tails down. So now the infection rate here in Illinois now stands at 184,712 known cases. And our new death total here in the state of Illinois is now 7,544. So Don, how's it looking over there in Northwest Indiana? What's going on with the cases there?
Well, this week, the new number of new cases is 836. Unfortunately, between the 29th and yesterday, we saw 14 deaths. And overall, it gives us 69,255 total cases, and we're up to almost 2,800 deaths. And that's a lot.
Right. You know? It is. You know, when this first started, Indiana was always trailing behind us. Because we're so close, we, you know, report both numbers here. And then at one point, Indiana had completely flattened with cases and deaths. And then, you know, your governor said it was okay for people to go outside with masks. I was over there shopping in your area about 3 weeks ago, and I was petrified. I was so petrified of the number of people who did not have any damn mask on, no regard to other people. I felt like an alien. And so how have you been getting through this, and how has the response been, in your opinion, in Northwest Indiana?
Okay. Well, I've been getting through it with Amazon. I've been clicking the button as much as I can, getting no-touch deliveries as much as I can. When I am out, you know, lately I've been wearing a mask. I try to limit the amount of times I go out. Usually try to go out once, maybe a week, or maybe every couple of weeks to get groceries and things of that nature. Not really doing a lot of socializing, you know, because the reality is you don't want to infect anybody, and you don't want anybody to infect you, because you never know who a person has to go home to, whether it's an aunt or a mother or a grandparent. And, you know, you just don't want to put yourself or them in that kind of position. So for me, it's really been a lot of Amazon.
I can believe that. Have you suffered any fatalities due to COVID-19? Any relatives or friends or family members have passed away from it?
Well, we've been blessed to not have lost anybody. I've had a couple friends who contracted corona, and a couple who are symptomatic. And for the most part, they've been able to just kind of muddle through. Nobody ended up in the hospital or anything. Most people were able to take the 14 days and then end up not being symptomatic when they took their second test. But there was people in my circle who were pretty healthy. So it wasn't like, you know, older people who had diabetes or things like that. It was, you know, younger people who had contracted it.
Wow. Well, you know, I was telling my audience and have been saying to them since February, I've experienced the death of 8 people very close to me.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes. Since February, it's been 8 deaths, but none of them have been COVID related. They've all been things that were either just a catastrophe that was so horrible, or, you know, they just heart attack all of a sudden. But, you know, as far as me knowing somebody who has passed away from COVID, not really. I do not. But I've had so many of my followers have posted on their social media pages that they have lost relatives, and I've offered my condolences to them. But, you know, I think about the young man in Atlanta, Georgia. The entire family had COVID. Now both his mom and dad are dead. He's an only child. We were talking about him yesterday. This is something that we never imagined would happen. And really, this is mind-boggling in many ways. How have you put this into perspective of, you know, you said limited outdoor use, things like that? That means an adjustment for your life because you stay busy. How have you been able to cope with it, you know, stress-wise?
Well, stress wise, I'm still on my weight loss journey. I'm still working out regularly. So, I'm trying to maintain as much normalcy as possible. Getting in, getting my sunlight, making sure that I keep, vitamin D, making sure that I stay hydrated, just trying to do the things that I would do, try not to get sick during flu season or any other season.
Yes.
That's really, at least from my perspective, a key element to all of this stuff is you have to take care of yourself internally, mind, body, and soul, eating the right things, drinking plenty of water. I meditate regularly, make sure, that I try to decompress and stay stress free, and I had to block some people on social media too, quite honestly.
Yeah, you know what, Sadan? I was telling a good friend of mine, and I'm glad you brought that up. Social media has now started to become really cumbersome for me, and I'm gonna tell you why. See, I am a news junkie, and I love great news, and oftentimes I'm able to see what's going on in the communities and things just by social media, because there'll be somebody that'll get on there and be like, hey, somebody got shot here at blah 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 blah, and then I'll start researching it and checking it out, that type of thing. But then there are some people who legitimately need therapists. They need help. They need help, and I think they think that Facebook is their therapist, and it's not, or their many followers in their opinions. And I'm with you. A lot of these people need to step back from social media for a minute. They really do. Now, I don't want y'all to step back when my show is on, but a lot of y'all need to step back a little bit. I agree. What you think?
Well, you got to be selective about who you let in your inner circle, number one, because, there's a difference between, your inner circle and people you associate with. I think our parents really did a great job of separating friends and family from associates. Whereas with the social media, we've kind of lost that understanding, and we think sometimes that people on social media are actually our friends. They're just people. They're in the same category as a coworker or the person that lives 2 floors up. They're not really your friend. So what you have to do during times like these, at least in my opinion, is really separate the two. Like, okay, that's Facebook. Pick up the phone, call your real friends.
Right.
Yes. Gain some perspective with them.
Well, Sadan, I've had several women walk up to me in public and they'll say, hey, Chat Daddy, I just want to tell you, I met so-and-so because he was one of your friends on Facebook. And I want to, ask you about him, how you know him. And I'm like, excuse me? I'm like, wait a minute, wait now. I said, ma'am, first of all, and I've said this to several women, like, keep in mind, about 10,000 people follow me between 2 Facebook pages. I said, people follow me, I think because I'm a public figure. People kind of know me. They kind of hold me in high regards. I said, but I could not tell you. I said, now, who's the person's name? And whenever they say it, if it does not pop up like Sadan Long, who I know, we text each other, we call, we talk, or, James Ingram or whoever. Girl, I don't know him. I don't. He just, well, Chat Daddy, because he was one of your friends, I thought he was okay. Girl, you done lost your damn mind. No, I don't know this dude like that. And I think a lot of us have allowed social media to run away with what's reality,
Exactly. And a lot of people are getting hurt. Their emotions are involved because, people are saying these nice things in the inbox.
Oh, is he back?
Me?
Uh-oh.
I'm right here.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Uh-oh. Yeah, we can hear you now. Go ahead. You had froze up there for a minute.
Oh, okay. And I just said, a lot of people saying nice things in your inbox, but they don't know you and you don't know them. I mean, they could live in a rat house.
Right. Or a trap house. Right. Right. Or a trap house. Right. I have no idea, no clue. Okay. All right. Well, Sadan, let's continue on with the top news stories of the day. There is a battle over the TikTok app and a potential sale to Microsoft. So over the weekend on Sunday night, if I'm not mistaken, Monday, our president, number 45, was going to threaten to shut TikTok down because of its connection to China. And I'm thinking to myself, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. Unemployment is at an all-time high. People who were on unemployment benefits do not know what their next check is going to look like, when that next check is going to come. And this man is now worried about TikTok when half of us don't even know what the hell a tick or a tock is. And do we care about a damn TikTok? And why has TikTok become so popular? Can you help us with that, Sadan?
Well, I like TikTok. I mean, I don't really know where it came from, but I like the whole don't rush and, people changing clothes. Yeah, me too. I like that.
Right.
But, as far as my day-to-day life goes, TikTok not paying no bills. So, if you take it away, you take it away. If you don't, you don't. But, I want to hold my president accountable to leading my country.
Yes.
Making sure that we are, fed and safe. Those are the things that I'm concerned about. And, I think he just kind of filibusters and throws wild stuff out there just to get away from answering any real questions.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like, when we were kids, your mother would say, go in the room. And every time you'd ask for some money.
Yeah. I ain't got no money. Mm-hmm.
I ain't got no money. Right. That's kind of how he does.
Mm-hmm.
You ask him a serious question, then he goes off the left field.
Right. Because first of all, I can't understand why we're debating something like TikTok. TikTok is for those of you all that do not understand, it's a social media app. It's an app that is used by mainly, I'm going to put it to you like this. Your grandchildren, for those of you all that are grandparents, your grandchildren would be on TikTok, not your children. Some of your children may, if they're young and hip and trendy. I have thought about getting a TikTok account myself, but it's just short videos of people putting themselves out there dancing, as he said, the challenge where everybody was changing clothes. You'll see people do little videos on there. Mm-hmm. I find it to be a rather cute video.
I think it is too.
I do too, but I don't think that the president of the United States needs to be threatening to shut an app down because, he feels it's from China. I mean, what else? We get everything else from China, and you've offended China by saying that this is the China virus,
Exactly. I mean, he does business globally. I mean, there are Trump towers in Taiwan. I think there's one going up in Russia,
right.
So if you thought, these people were good enough to do business with, why are you now turning your back on them and talking bad about them to us?
Right. Well, I'm just worried about, what's the whole issue of just TikTok itself. And it seems to be a very sustainable company doing its best, but I just don't understand the attack of a social media platform. It just does not make sense when you really need to think about how are you going to help the people of the United States to survive during this pandemic?
Chad, this is a tough time. This is the first time we've ever had anything like this happen. So there's no real blueprint or playbook that you could go back and look at. Like in a lot of different instances, things happen in the past. You could always say, well, this is what we did to get through. This doesn't fall into that category. So, I mean, I really need somebody at the wheel. Not worried about, a social media platform. And I understand as somebody who works in marketing, that predictive selling and access to people's information, the things like that are serious.
Right.
I get it.
Right. Right.
But he asks people to take care of that stuff. There are things that happen every day in our government that they don't talk about. So why is that important?
Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, I just, didn't understand what the deal was. Well, we want to wish a happy birthday to a couple of famous people. Today is our former president, Barack Obama's birthday. Yay.
All right. Good job, Barack Obama.
Absolutely. He did a wonderful job eulogizing Congressman.
Yes, indeed.
Congressman Lewis. John Lewis. We were just so honored and happy, and he did such a great job. And so we want to wish our former president, President Barack Obama, a happy and wonderful birthday. And then today is also the birthday of the mayor of Chicago, Mayor Lori.
All right.
turned 58 years old today, and we just want to wish her a happy and wonderful birthday, and continued success to you, Madam Mayor, and may you continue to reign over our city and help us to get this city under control and do the right things to just, all mankind can live as one. So happy birthday. Today is also our adopted cousin Meghan Markle's birthday. Her
really?
former yes, today is her birthday as well too. So we want to wish all three of those people a very happy birthday.
All right.
Yes, absolutely.
Good job. Mayor, stay your butt at home.
Yeah. Look, wear your mask. Wear your mask. Sanitize. Please sanitize every chance you can get. Social distance. And keep your ass in the house. That's what we say on the show. That's how we do it. So, Don, do you have anything in the news you want to talk about today?
Well, since we're in Chicago, did you see what Jaguar Wright and Common were talking? What she was saying about Common?
Yes, I did. For those of you all that are not familiar, he's talking about R&B singer Jaguar Wright. And in the late 90s, Jaguar Wright had a series of just wonderful songs that she did. She is now spilling all the tea. Her brother was the founding member of The Roots that just recently passed away. He had been struggling with a drug problem, and she started pouring the tea with The Roots, saying that they were not kind to the brother, was not helping him, was not doing the right things. And in her pouring the tea on The Roots, she decided to continue to pour tea. So Don, tell us about how she was pouring tea on Common.
Well, allegedly, because, obviously neither you nor I were there, but allegedly, at some point during the 90s, she shared a bed with him one evening after the show. And he propositioned her allegedly for some fellatio. Oh wow, really? During the good part.
You breaking up?
Right there?
Wait. Well, okay, try it again. All right. So allegedly, what happened?
Allegedly, he asked her for some sex, and she said no. And she went to bed, and apparently he decided.
We are both froze. Oh boy, here we go.
What is going on? Not today. Not today. Are you there? Are you there? Come on back. I'm not ready to let you go.
I know.
Can you hear me? Are you there? Hello.
Okay, I'm back.
Check 1 2.
All right, are you back?
Am I back too?
I don't know what the hell happened. Look, maybe that was Jaguar didn't want us to talk about her. You there?
I'm still here.
Huh?
Yeah, so she says that he assaulted her.
Okay.
That's what she's saying. She said that she was assaulted and, that he tried to force himself on her. And, the process of spilling the tea, that's something that came out today. Now, I wasn't there. And, like the viewer said, it kind of caught me off guard, too, because up until now, I never, heard anything like that before.
Right. We're talking about Chicago's very own Common, has made a successful career for himself. As we said before, singer Jaguar Wright is now saying that he made some advances at her. But see, here's what kind of triggers a little something in me, Sadan. When people go out with each other and they're trying to get to know each other, there is some advancement that usually happens. I'm sure you're together because you're trying to get to know each other. Exactly. And I'm wondering if she's trying to come back on all of this to revitalize her career, because we've not heard from a Jaguar Wright in years. And I get the wanting to kind of set the record straight about a few things, but then, I don't know how much would I want to set a record straight to damage somebody else's career. You know what I'm saying? Or this could damage his reputation forever if this alleged situation is true.
Well, from where I sit, if she's been carrying this for years, obviously, at least a couple decades from what it sounds like, I really feel bad for her because, what happens to a person who, if these allegations are true, if they have to carry this kind of burden for 10, 20 years. So, I really hope that, it isn't true, but whatever comes of it, I hope she just gets the help that she needs, man. Because if you go on YouTube or TMZ or any of the other, news platforms, you'll see that she was really, really passionately, aggressively just pouring tea.
Yes,
just slinging it.
Yes.
Which looked like she was in some real pain and grief.
Right. I agree with you 100%. And, here's the deal. I'm not judging her at all, to say the least, because we all have a burden to bear. We all have had some things that happen that have not been, the most stellar situation that has happened to us in our lifetime. But when you start pouring tea like that and really talking about somebody and other people, it just really makes me wonder, exactly what would make her do something like that.
Yeah, you got to be careful with that kind of stuff, man, because that could ruin a man's career. And if it's a false allegation, still it just being, having your name attached to something like that doesn't go away. 30 years from now, his grandkids will be able to look, and that stuff will pop up on a news feed somewhere. So I hope it's not true.
Yes.
And if it is true, then I want to know, why'd you wait so long?
Yes. And here's the deal. We're in a period now where really people could write a book and tell that entire story, and it probably would do so much better than getting on a social media platform and just putting herself out there like that. But I don't know. Again, she may be looking for the attention. All I know is we want to wish Jaguar Wright the absolute best. I want to hear more about the story because I'm sure she's going to pour more tea. But it's been an interesting conversation, to say the least. Well, here's the backflip of all of this. Today on social media, where I was looking at on an entertainment show tonight, Tiffany Haddish is now saying that she dates Common. We've seen a couple of pictures of them together. She's very excited. She said this is her first time dating a major celebrity. So, I wonder if Tiffany Haddish will comment about this whole Jaguar Wright situation.
Well, Common's dated. From Serena Williams to Angela Rye to Taraji Henson, so, I hope they all come to his defense. If these allegations aren't true, I hope they all stand up and defend his reputation. Because that's what I would hope would happen if it was the other way around. That if a brother had wronged the sister, that the sisters would stand up, or that the brothers would stand up and say, hey, that's not true. So I hope, Tiffany and Angela and Taraji and, Erica, and man, he got a lot of ex-girlfriends.
But now,
I hope they all come to his aid.
Okay, so now you just said where I was trying to get to with that. If you really think about it, and I'm not trying to say this because he's a black man, because this can happen to any man, white, Hispanic, any gentleman, a lot of exes could be in your repertoire. But my whole point is, I wonder what is wrong that nothing ever stuck with any of those other women. You know what I'm saying? What happened that you didn't end up with Serena Williams? What happened that you didn't end up with all of the other women? But again, I'm not trying to, because we've all dated our share of people, but it just kind of makes me wonder what happened with him and all these other famous women.
Well, I think, at least from my experience, most of us don't really know most of the people that we're dating. We know they avatar on social media. We know their representative. You meet a man or a woman, 90% of what they're telling you out the gate is not necessarily what the truth is. We're not checking credit scores and childhood traumas and, interviewing exes. So, you really don't know these people. So what he's seeing in the community, on the TV, he may be attracted to, but then when he actually meets some of these women, or when they actually meet him, they might not be, what they think they are. Maybe it is him. These women think, he's suave and debonair, and they find out he a brother from the South Side.
Chicago, that's right. He likes 6 wings with hot and mild sauce. Right. Yeah. I mean, you might be right about that, but we've had this debate on this show several times about, it's okay for a man to have had a stable of women. That's the male machoism, the manhood thing. But, when it's somebody that's such a celebrity like that, and then you end up with all these celebrity women, it just makes you kind of wonder. Hopefully one day he will settle down. And somebody said on here that, Tiffany Haddish will definitely spill all the tea about him. She don't keep nothing. Yeah, Tiffany Haddish will spill it all. And then he did go to my former high school, Luther South. So, I don't know. I don't know, but we wish him and Tiffany Haddish the best. And we'll see how this all pans out. I hope that, what Miss Jaguar Wright is saying is not true, because we would hate to see another black man go down, over sexual transgressions,
Especially without having his day in court.
That's right. All right. Well, Sadon, great job on Hot Topics and all that good stuff. Are you enjoying yourself so far?
I am having a wonderful time chatting with you, chat.
Good. Very good. Well, for those of you all that are just joining us this evening, we apologize. We've been having some technical difficulties tonight. As you guys all know, we do these shows now via Wi-Fi. Your morning news shows have been having problems. So there's nothing that this show does not experience that a morning news show does not experience. If you guys cannot hear us, please type in the comment line. We can't hear you. And we'll do what we need to do. But otherwise, we just see ourselves talking, and we're not knowing that the screen is frozen until after we've talked a minute or whatever the case may be. For those of you all, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. I am here Monday through Thursday night from 7 to 8:30 p.m. This is a reality news entertainment show. I try my best to bring you some of the most amazing guests ever to talk about hot topics that are trending globally. And tonight, they saying that I'm frozen. See, it's the Wi-Fi, but they can hear me. All right. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate you. And tonight is all about health and fitness, whether it's physical, mental, or spiritual. And we have another great show lined up. My special co-host tonight is best-selling author and business coach, Mr. Sadon Long. How are you, brother?
I am doing just fine.
Everybody, I'm frozen. Oh no, but okay, as long as you guys can hear me, that's all that
we can
matters.
Hear you.
Okay, good. All right, beautiful. They can hear me loud and clear. Okay, so go ahead, Sadon. What were you saying?
I'm saying I'm doing good. I mean, my spirits are good, my health is good. If you go back and you look at, my history with chat, you'll notice that I'm a lot smaller than when we first started hanging out.
Yeah, what happened? You look great.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Well, I've lost about 130 pounds since we first started, and, about to drop another book for Christmas, dealing with men's health and sexuality, because, what I figured out, when I was losing weight is that, hey, I was starting to get a little holler, and, things were working better because, it was less of me and I was eating better and I was feeling better. So it really has had a positive effect in a lot of different areas. And then, with things that are going on right now, I feel it's more important than ever to share what's worked for me.
Very good.
You're looking at diabetes as $1 billion a day industry, chat.
Yes, it is. And so tonight during the 8 o'clock, you're going to talk about men's health.
Yes, I am.
Sexuality after the age 40. I'm excited to hear that.
Like a rock.
Like a rock.
Right.
Oh my God. Well, we're waiting on our next guest to chime in with us. While we're waiting, I guess we can continue to talk about some other things that have happened in the news. As of this coming Friday, Mayor Lori Lightfoot has now added Puerto Rico to our now ever-growing travel quarantine list.
Oh.
It will be added among 22 other states from which people are coming into the city, should remain in indoor quarantine for now 2 weeks. Well, because of the hurricane that is currently on the East Coast, it originally started in the Caribbean and then it hit Puerto Rico over the weekend. The governor of Puerto Rico was saying that so many people were coming to Puerto Rico because Puerto Rico did not have any travel limitations. They allowed people to come there. Puerto Rico is a part of the United States. And then the airlines was offering airfares so cheap from Florida to Puerto Rico, $30, $40 round, each way, that people were coming to Puerto Rico, and they believe that's how the virus continued to spread. And so now Mayor Lightfoot is saying people who come from Puerto Rico must quarantine for 2 weeks.
Well, Chad, at this point, we just really have to sit our butts down. I mean, I understand, that it's hard to be in the house, it's hard to, this is a new normal, but it's lasted way longer than we thought it would.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. This is serious. This is very serious. People thought this was going to be a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two, and we would be back to normal. But this is now very serious. All right.
I mean, I said, we see people having get-togethers and birthday parties and all kind of rooftop stuff going on. And it's like, you do realize that you're passing this to other people.
All right. Well, very good. Let's move on. We have a very special guest that's joining us this evening. We're honored to have him here tonight. As you guys all know, everywhere you turn, we are seeing cases of police misconduct. We are seeing cases of people who have been accused of mistaken identity. We just had a family who the cops were looking for a motorcycle, and the license plate mimicked that of what was on these people's car. And so all of this is a lot to take in, and especially during the time of a pandemic. So tonight we have a gentleman who is a famed civil rights and wrongful death attorney. Attorney Cannon Lambert represents the family of Sandra Bland. She was a Chicago woman wrongly arrested and then found dead in a Texas jail cell. I am an admirer of this gentleman. He does great work, and I'm actually honored to welcome him to the show tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show, famed attorney Cannon Lambert. How are you, sir?
Hi, fellas. How are you all doing? Thank you so much for having me.
Doing all right, Doc.
Good. Glad to have you here with us tonight, attorney. It's an honor and a pleasure. I know your schedule is very busy, but it really is a treat to have you here to talk to my audience this evening. Before we get into what you do, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, where you come from, and how you became this famous attorney.
Well, the only reason I'm famous is because people support me, right? I mean, I don't know how famous I really am. What I do know is that I've been very blessed. I'll tell you that. There's a whole lot of people that have given me a whole lot of opportunities to try and do what I try and do. I'm from the Chicagoland area out in the suburbs, but ultimately speaking, to me, this is home. And so the fact that you had me today, I'm so grateful for that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very good. Well, it's a pleasure. I want to start off with the case that everybody knows about. This is a case that has been talked about. We still chant and say her name every day. It would be Sandra Bland. We did not know a Sandra Bland before this case happened. And then once we found out about a Sandra Bland, you stepped in, and that's how we knew. Tell us about the Sandra Bland story.
Well, I think you encapsulated it well. Ultimately speaking, she was from the Chicagoland area. She was moving down to Texas. And as she went down and got a job at Prairie View, her alma mater, she got stopped by an officer and then accosted, pulled out by the side of the road, beaten up and arrested wrongfully. And then ultimately, she was then found dead 3 days later in a jail cell. But I think the tragedy of it all is not just Sandy, but you also have a lot of Sandys all throughout this country that you and I don't necessarily even know their names. I think the reason that Sandy's story is so significant is because so many people can relate to it and appreciate that it could be anybody on the side of the road. That we see that it is. You just saw in DC not more than a day or two ago, it might have been yesterday, 4 African-American women got pulled over by the side of the road by 2 special service, Secret Service officers. And one of them was 4 years old.
Yes.
And the other, and 2 of the other 3 were minors, and they were playing Disney music in the car, and they got pulled off to the side of the road, put down on the ground, and they were doing nothing wrong. Nothing wrong.
So wait a minute, attorney. I think this was the case again of the mistaken license plate number. Is that the same case?
Well, unfortunately, there have been several. There have been several in the last couple of days, and we know that it's sort of endemic to our society. For a long, long time, our community has been saying, listen, this is happening to us for years, for decades. It's just now with the advent of cameras and the advent of people being willing to use those cameras and capturing footage that the greater community, or the larger community, I'll say, is now becoming aware of the fact that this is happening to us. But for these cameras, people wouldn't know. And if you look at police officers, and the fact that they wear body cameras in a lot of different states, they'll actively take off body cameras, deactivate body cameras, or throw them off of them and say that they got knocked off. Now, I'm not saying that all police officers are bad, but I am saying that we know that that's an active practice. If you look at what happened with Elijah McClain, that's the very thing that happened with him. You had officers who had body cameras on, and all 3 of those officers that were involved with him and who accosted him while he was walking home from a store, bothering no one, by the way, who suddenly their body cams are not on, and then they got caught saying, hey, don't leave your body camera on the ground. So we know that if it weren't for body cameras, that we would the larger community wouldn't know what's happening to our community.
You know what, attorney? I agree with you 100% on that, because I just feel that the world in which we live in, where you can buy cameras for your home, cameras on your smartphone, I just think it makes for better safety measures, because anytime, any place, something could pop off and really you could end up being a victim. So that's why, having you on the show tonight, I felt was imperative, because now more than ever, with all the looting, the rioting, the unrest we're having in our country, the political turmoil that we're faced right now, you can easily become a victim in a blink of an eye and be an innocent bystander.
Well, that's the fear, right? I think that that's what is so systemic in our culture, but so frightening. What do I have to do to be safe? What do you have to do to be safe? That's really the quintessential question, isn't it? The answer right now is there's nothing you can do in a lot of respects. You can be bothering no one. You can be at your home. Right, Botham John was in his house when they broke in and when the officer broke into his house thinking it was hers and shot and killed him in his house. Right, Breonna Taylor was in her house, and Mr. Walker, her boyfriend, who was defending her because he believed someone was breaking into her house, into his house, who shot at the police that were breaking into his house, and he didn't know they were police. Ends up getting arrested. You can't even defend your home.
I don't know. It's more and more cases like that are just really mind-boggling in many ways. So, Don, did you have a question for the attorney before I move on to my next questions with him?
So, what can people do in situations like that? Is there a number they can call, or is there some kind of recourse people have in these situations?
So the thing is, for me, I know Ben Crump. I think him to be a good guy, a nice guy, good lawyer, right? I know Lee, great lawyer. We all will tell you that our true power really comes from people. It's not the fact that we know the law, we will use the law to our advantage, but it's the fact that you have inertia behind you, the people that help you to forward these types of cases. And so what do people do? Continue to talk about it. Continue to push the narrative. Continue to control the narrative. You can't control the narrative if you're silent, right? You have to speak up. You have to speak out. I tell my kids all the time, speak up and speak loud and proud. You always have to do that. That's number one. Number two, look, you have to understand and appreciate that not all things are going to go the way you want it to go, and you might get mistreated. But the question is not whether you fight; it's when you fight.
Mm-hmm.
You're on the side of the road, that's the wrong place and the wrong time to fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
You'll lose that 100 days out of the year, 365 days out of the year.
Mm-hmm.
It's when you fight. So if something happens, you retain counsel right away so that you can control the narrative, so that you can tell your story, so that you can put pressure on the powers that be, right? That's the type of thing that has to happen. And then on the other side of it, we have to look at what we're going to do systemically in terms of changing how policing is done. Think about it practically. Policing right now is designed to find people doing wrong, right? I mean, that's what it is. They'll sit in the bushes and try and clock you as you're speeding, hidden from your view. They're trying to catch you. They'll try and stop you on one pretense and look in your car to see if you're up to something else. They're trying to catch you. Rather than that being the way the policing is done, why can't it be that when I'm stopped on the side of the road because my car's not working and my hood is up and you can see that I'm in peril, that you as an officer stop and ask me, can I help you out?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the officer-friendly component, it exists. Believe me, I know. I do work with officers all of the time, quality officers, competent officers that desire to see the public serviced and protected. But there are those that don't do it that way. And I would think it to be incumbent on the officers that see people not doing what they ought to be doing and bringing dishonor to the badge to speak up.
Mm-hmm.
You be held accountable when they don't, and prosecuted when they don't, when you sign a false police report, when you testify in a way that's not truthful in court against someone, you can be prosecuted for that. Right now in this country, what we do is we value police officers' lives more than we value civilians' lives. All you have to do is look at how it is that it's codified in the law. If a person kills a police officer, they're liable to get death if the death penalty exists in a particular state, or life in prison. That's not the case if you kill a civilian. And I understand that police officers' jobs are dangerous. I understand that. But I would say to you that my life is just as valuable as a police officer. Plain and simple.
Amen.
Yes, brother. You're right about that, attorney. You're actually dropping some very powerful knowledge on my audience this evening, and I appreciate you. I'm looking at the feeds from all my various pages, and people are just saying, thank you for this important information that you're giving out. I want to find out, what was it like for you to be a part of the film Say Her Name, The Life and Death of Sandra Bland? That had to have been exciting. That put you on a even higher global platform. And then if I'm not mistaken, wasn't it nominated for Best Documentary with the Oscar committee? Didn't that happen?
It did. Grateful for that. And I'll tell you, I mean, as far as it being exciting, just candidly, I was in the middle of sort of doing what we were doing and not paying attention much to the fact that a lot of what was happening was being filmed. The thing that I take great pride in, frankly, is the fact that you have a situation where a family, that family in particular, was given an opportunity, a platform to speak for themselves in a way that has not happened in most instances. And I'm so proud of them and so grateful to have been a part of what they were looking to try and accomplish and the vehicle that they used to get to where they wanted to go. They told me when I first met them, they wanted to make sure that Sandra was not forgotten. It's why I was so aggressive about trying to get the case into the media, maintain its presence within the media so that people would know what was going on as it happened. Right? That's not something that we often do. It's not sometimes that, sometimes you have to be careful about how you manage that. But ultimately, at the very outset of a situation, I always ask people, what is it that you want? Tell me what you want. Forget whether or not you think you can get it. Tell me what you want. And once you tell me that, then we're going to try and find ways to move toward that. And that movie, that documentary, really, it chronicled their life story, their life journey post Sandy's passing. But on a practical level, when it was happening, we were in the middle of fighting a case and trying to preserve her legacy. They tried to attack Sandy personally They tried to take away the shine and the dignity that she was entitled to and that she held while she was here. And so our responsibility was to stand in the gap and to make sure that didn't happen.
Very good.
Amen.
Well, I thought it was a great documentary. I really did. A lot of great information in it. So Don, any question you want to have for our attorney real quick? Because I want to ask him about George Floyd after you pose your question.
Well, anything going forward? I mean, where are we at with the Sandra Bland case? Is there any new developments or anything that you can speak to currently?
Well, so we resolved the civil case, and in the way that we did it, we kind of broke some ground. We were able to link to the settlement legislation. So one of the biggest objectives that we had was to try and make sure that we could say that after all of it, we were able to impact how other people following behind us were going to be affected. And so when we got legislation, the Sandra Bland Act, that was sort of landmark. We also we resolved the case for almost $2 million. And so in doing so, and you have to understand too, in our scenario, we didn't have video footage. Like when you talk about George Floyd, we didn't have video footage of her death. We didn't even have video footage of her being beaten. You could hear her, but you couldn't see it. And that's why I say to you, so much importance rests in the heroes and the heroes that pick up a camera and are willing to record. I got a phone call today from a woman who took the initiative to record a police-involved shooting, and she's getting death threats now.
Wow.
Death threats now. So right now, when it comes to Sandra Bland and her case, while her case is resolved, her legacy lives on.
Boy, attorney, the name George Floyd has changed the world as we know it. We all know the results of, his death and just what has happened in major cities across the world. Black Lives Matter now more than ever is out here in the forefront. What does the name George Floyd mean to you, A, as a Black man, and B, as an attorney? How is this all looking to you?
It's on.
I love it.
It's on. I remember when I was in college, and there was some book sales that were going on, and I walked up to one of the little vendors, and it was a Black woman who asked me, "Are you dangerous?" And at the time, it struck me as sort of an odd question, but on a practical level, the most dangerous people in the world, and particularly in this country, are those that are educated, that know what's going on and care about what's going on and are prepared to do something about it. So when you see people that are out and expressing their dissatisfaction, to me, that's progress. When you see people saying no more, that's progress. At the end of the day, we won't get to where we want to get to tomorrow. But when you look at what happened with George Floyd, the fact that you saw a man executed on the streets, one, I say it's a terrible thing that it took that to energize so many people that are not within our culture and not within our community. I think it's a terrible thing that it takes that. If it takes that, I'll take the support, the allyship. Because ultimately, that's what we need. I can't have conversations in communities that I'm not welcoming, neither can you. Right? We have to have people who are prepared to have the real conversations behind closed doors, just like we are. And we need to be prepared as a community to hold people accountable, to require that they have those conversations. So when you see professional athletes saying, "I'm going to take a stand," when you see businesses saying, "I'm going to take a stand," I was just up in Iowa City when I went to law school, and some of the businesses that are white-owned have Black Lives Matter signs in their windows. Does that change things forever right now? No, it doesn't. But it's a start. It's a step. And I'll take it. I'll take it.
Well, attorney, that's so funny you say that white-owned businesses would have the Black Lives Matter signs in their window. And I was having this debate with a friend. We were headed to dinner one evening. And I said, now, I wonder if that sign is put there to keep from their place being looted and rioted, or do they really support Black lives? I wonder how many people actually are Black that work for them, and so it just kind of makes you wonder. But it's really good to see people get on the bandwagon, but it also makes me wonder how committed are they to creating a new trail for this, bandwagon to go down,
So we have to do this. We have to appeal to our better angels. We have to give credit where we see it to be due. We always have to be mindful of the possible pitfalls and prepare for those. But at the end of the day, when you see that, now the next question is, like what you said, how many Black people do you employ? Right. I worked for Johnny Cochran's office before I opened my own shop here in Chicago. Ironically, when I was there, I realized he didn't have but about 6 or 7 white. Johnny Cochran now. Johnny Cochran, and this is right after OJ, who was the most well-known, one of the most well-respected, one of the best attorneys in the country. And his office in Chicago could not get white clients, could not get Latin clients. What does that say? The best lawyer in the Chicagoland area and in the country could not break that color barrier. What does that say? It says to me, we got a long, long way to go, because we're not measured, unfortunately, by what we're capable of doing. I'm not measured by what I'm capable of doing. White lawyers refer me cases to go try and recover a fee because they sent the case to me, even though when they took it, they knew they were going to resolve the case themselves. Okay. I mean, at the end of the day, the bottom line is that we owe ourselves as much as we give to others. So when we talk about buying Black, there's a reason we should be doing that. I'm not suggesting that we should isolate ourselves. I am saying we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to acknowledge the fact that we have spending power. We have to use spending power. We have to use voting power. We have to galvanize that power. Every time you step out on the streets and you want to protest something, I want to know whether or not you're voting for something. I want to know whether or not you know who the judges are that you could be voting for. The Cook County Bar Association, I'm the president-elect of the Cook County Bar Association. Every voting season, we put out a list of all of the judges who have been screened by us and the Alliance of Bar Association, so that you can make a determination from what we've done and the work that we've done as to whether or not these are the types of judges that are going to service our community, be compassionate about the people that are appearing in front of them, and have or whether or not they have a bias in terms of diversity and inclusion. Those are the types of things that we have to do. We have to really start to energize ourselves with.
Yep. You know what? You're absolutely right about that, knowing who your attorneys are. I was talking to a dear friend of mine who had been in law enforcement for a number of years, had retired. And my friend was able to give me pretty much a backstory on each attorney, how they thought, and was saying that, I don't know, sometimes, the behind the scene jokes that this attorney makes, or judge makes, is not appropriate. I don't know if, pro-Black in front of a camera and not pro-Black behind the scenes. And I said, you got to be kidding me. And that's when I started learning to do my due diligence about researching who the attorneys are. Who the judges are in our city, and it makes good sense. Correct?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'll tell you, here's what happens. First and foremost, as an attorney, you never want to see bad things happen, but on a practical level, you know that they do, and you don't have control over them. So when somebody's in a trucking accident, it's not that you celebrate it, but you know that you can try and help. If a case comes to me like that, where somebody passes because of a trucking accident, when I resolve the case, I'm going to make sure that I do right by the family, right? But over and above that, what happens is my involvement in that allows for me to go out and hire another lawyer that looks like me, a receptionist that looks like me, a paralegal that looks like me. Right? Other offices, frankly, they don't do that. How do I know? Because I know them all. I know who works. And I'm not the only Black law firm out here, right? We have multiple firms, multiple businesses, Black businesses, who are doing their thing. And so we should support them to the degree that we can, right? I mean,
Amen.
Hey, if you're going to get top-notch service and you're going to get top-notch service from us, what's the downside?
Right. Attorney Lambert, I want to, before we have to let you go, find out about this wonderful program that you're doing to help young men, because our young Black boys, we're hearing more and more stories. Today, there was a shooting on Rush Street in Chicago that happened just a few hours ago. As we all know, Rush Street is considered our Rodale Drive here in Chicago. And you know, I know them people clutching their pearls and about to pass out that has been a shooting on Oak Street today. But you know, more and more of these stories are, you know, our young Black men, and I just feel so bad. And I think a lot of them just don't know what to do when they are caught up in a situation. So tell us about your program to help our young people when they get in situations.
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to have several examples of quality police officers who I know and call friend. And in having spirited debates back and forth with them about the things they go through and the things that I care about as far as protecting people, I basically came up with a program that's called How To. It's an acronym, and it basically speaks to how you can interface with the police when you're stopped by the police. And it's not an absolute prophylactic, but it makes it much more likely that you'll walk away from that encounter without losing your life. And How To stands for, the acronym is as follows. The H stands for, as soon as you see the lights in your windows or if you hear the sirens, turn your hazard lights on. O, out with the keys. When you pull over, take your keys out of the ignition and put them on your dashboard. The reason you do that is because police officers will tell you that the most dangerous instances during a traffic stop often exist when a car is running, because sometimes when people will use a car as a weapon against a police officer. Mm-hmm. Take your keys out of the ignition, put them on the dashboard. You can't use your weapon. They can't take that as a threat. W, roll your window down. It allows for them to communicate with you. It allows for you to communicate with them. It allows for them to see you and for you to see them. And two, your hands at 10 and 2. You put your hands at 10 and 2 so your hands are visible. And therefore, it's less likely they will suggest that you have a weapon. And those things are How To sort of brings light or sheds light on how you can best walk away from an encounter. And speaking of light, if it's dark outside, turn your inside light on so that you can be seen even more. Mm-hmm.
And look,
what we do is myself, along with 4 other police officers, a federal agent, Chicago police officer, Cook County sheriff, and a state police officer. We teach this to high schools and to churches and to virtually anybody that wants the training. We'll walk through scenarios so they can see how it happens. We walk through scenarios when you're walking down the street and how to engage, what your rights are in that scenario as well. We don't charge for it. It's something that we do because we want people to have the information. And if any of your listeners have any interest, please, they're more than welcome to contact me, and we would be more than happy to come out and help.
Absolutely, attorney. I'm going to let you give out all of your information at the end. We won't hold you too much longer, but I did want to ask for the young folks that's riding around and they see them lights in the window, in the rear view mirror. They open their window and that cloud of marijuana smoke comes out. Are they instantly in trouble? A couple of people text me on that one, like, you know, with it now being supposedly legal, but yet when the cop walks up, you crack that window and that cloud of marijuana comes out of the car, that smoke, is that instant trouble right there?
It's instant trouble right there because there's probable cause. There is, it's probable cause for them to make a stop. You know, you can smoke marijuana and it might be legal on a state level, but it's not on a federal level, number one. So understand that. And then in addition to that, if you're impaired because of your intake, it's a problem. But what I would say is that if you ever get stopped, I don't care who you are, you should not talk to the police more than to answer, to give your name and give them your driver's license and let them do the talking. They'll ask questions of you when you get stopped that have meaning, and they are hidden meanings that you may not necessarily know about. Like, for example, when they stop people, they'll say, hey, listen, you know why I stopped you? That is a question that's asked because it's designed to make you give an answer that can be used against you in court. So if you say, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, I've been hitting it. Now they'll go into court and they'll say he admitted or she admitted that she was smoking marijuana, and they'll use it against you so that you later on have now hurt yourself, right? So you give them your name, give them your ID, give them your driver's license, give them your insurance, but let them tell you why it is that they stopped you, and understand that many times those stops are designed as a pretense to look into your car to see if there's other activity that they're looking for that's going on.
Okay, very good. Well, attorney, you've done an outstanding job this evening. We appreciate you. Anytime you want to come back, my platform is always open to you. You've been very informative. You actually have a great sense of humor too, attorney. That's what we appreciate. Right. We like fun people on the show.
You make it easy, man.
Oh, I appreciate you. You're getting a lot of great feedback tonight from my audience. They are loving you. Do me a favor, attorney. Tell everybody how they can find you, follow you. If they need to, God forbid, if they need to connect with you, we want them to connect with the right man.
Yeah, listen, never hesitate to call me if you need anything, you have a question, don't ever hesitate. My name is Cannon Lambert. I work at Karchmar and Lambert, and my telephone number is 312-977-1300. And my web address is www.getthecannon.com. So feel free.
All right. Get the Cannon. Look, we're going to have to put him on TikTok. Look, we're going to have to put him on TikTok next. You know what I'm saying?
I love you for it.
Look, he has a beautiful family, so I can only imagine him doing a great TikTok. So, yeah.
Hey, what they say, God takes care of babies and fools. I ain't no baby. So,
all right. Well,
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed.
Look, on this show, that's what we love, attorney. That's exactly what we love. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Amen.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for being here with us tonight. Continued success to you, and whatever we can do to help you, we're here. Good night, sir. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Attorney Cannon Lambert Sr. He is the man. We appreciate him so very much for being here tonight. $1 million advice he shared with us, really. And if you guys need him, know where you can find him. So, Don, what did you think about him? I just thought he was excellent tonight.
That was some great information. I mean, much needed information, especially for our young people who are just starting to really drive and don't really know the law. That whole thing about, not answering or talking too much, I think that was golden. I'm taking that with me when I get out behind the wheel again myself.
You and me both, because usually when the police pull me over, I always say, what did you pull me over for? Because I'm cute. Is that what it is? Right. You're trying to get my phone number, right? You're trying to holler at me. So that's what I always say. So I'm like, oh, are you trying to holler at me? Oh, okay. But no, he did. He gave some $1 million advice. He really, really did. All right. Here we are. For those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I guess we've been having a little technical difficulties this evening. We do apologize. It's not on our end or on our part. It is basically the Wi-Fi, the internet. A lot of you know we live in a world where our internet infrastructure is not as good as it should be, depending on where you are in the city or the country. And so we're trying to do our best to present the show without as many glitches as possible, but we thank you guys for riding through the glitches with us. We just got through speaking to famed attorney Cannon Lambert Sr., a really great guy, and gave a lot of great information on what to do if you get pulled over by the police, as well as he talked about the Sandra Bland case, which was his client. My guest co-host tonight is the amazing Mr. Sadon Long, the king of Northwest Indiana. He has lost quite a bit of weight, and look, you actually looking like a Sadon now. You know what I'm saying? You not that you didn't before, but now you're looking like a new Sadon. So
feels good too.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. I want to remind everyone to tune in to the Wednesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. Coming up tomorrow night on the show, my good friend Sharon Rowe will be our guest co-host, and I just love doing her. She's been in the social work field for now over 25 years, and we're going to talk about the mental stress that a lot of people are going through during this time of this global pandemic. Also, we'll meet the editor-in-chief of Cancer Wellness Magazine. She'll stop by tomorrow night to talk to us about cancer wellness. And then Coach Mario Kuntz is back, and he'll talk to us tomorrow night about this extra 15 to 20 pounds we've all gained during the global pandemic. They call it the freshman 15 when your child goes off to college or you go off to college and you gain that extra 15 pounds, where we're now calling this the COVID 15. And for some of us, it's been 20 pounds. But that's okay. When we're able to come out the house again, we're all going to be a little extra fluffy, or should I say fluffier. That's what we're all going to be. Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, brother, Sadan Long is our last and final guest this evening. And when I, approach all of my guests to be co-hosts, I oftentimes say, hey, what would you most like to talk about? And I thought Sadan wanted to talk about, writing books, or I thought maybe he was going to give us some business coach advice or whatever. And he said, no, Chat, I want to talk about men over 40, their health, their sexuality, things that they need to realize and come in terms with. And I said to him, I said, brother, I cannot wait to have this conversation because I'll be 55 years old in a few months. And I'm just curious to see what he would have to say. And if it kind of still makes sense to me at 55, if I have these issues or do I understand these things. So Brother Sadan, go right ahead with your presentation.
Well, all right. Well, first of all, happy birthday in advance. I was shocked to find out you were about to be 55.
Yes, I'll be 55 years old this year, and thank God. Let me knock on wood. Let me knock on wood that God will allow me to see 55 in November. But yes, I'll be 55 this year.
Amen. Well, the reason I wanted to talk about health and sex for men over 40 is as you get into your 40s, your testosterone levels start to drop. You start to pick up weight because your metabolism slows down. But at the same time, your kids are grown. So people are leaving your house, and this should be the best time of your life. You have your empty nesting, you and your wife, you and your lover, you guys could do whatever it is that you've been dreaming about doing. But unfortunately, diabetes, especially in our communities, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, all of those things are stealing the vitality from men. And I was one of those men. I was somebody who, as Chad will tell you, was almost 400 pounds when I first started my journey. And, as a man, almost 400 pounds, you become invisible, because people are not looking at you as masculine anymore. They're just looking at you as the nice guy. So with that being said, I started on a journey. I went to the doctor. He said I had sleep apnea. I was real hesitant in the beginning to use the machines and, to take the medicines until, some friends of mine said, well, you have two choices. You cannot take the medicine and, you won't be able to perform sexually and you're going to die, or you can do something about it. So that's what I've done. I've decided to do something about it. And, it's not as hard as people think. I know people are saying, well, I want to lose 100 pounds, but really, you can lose 10 to 15 pounds and start to see your testosterone levels go up, start to see the blood circulating, your heart get stronger, and, start to perform like you used to, and, that's important because, I'll look at, guys that I know and they'll tell you that they don't take the medication, because they feel like less of a man, but we never talk about Chat, well, what if I just got in better health? What if I, lost a few pounds? Because it just doesn't seem manly to not eat the big bacon burger. So
not to cut you off, but I was recently in the barbershop before this whole global pandemic, and there was a young man in there, and he was just explaining the series of health issues he had, but he was quick to say that he drank a bottle of Hennessy every day, and really I was ear hustling, and before I know it, I turned and said, "Young man, how old are you?" And he said, "I'm 38 years old." And he was on high blood pressure medicine. His cholesterol was over the top, all of that. And I'm thinking, my God, you 38 years old and the doctor has you on all of this type of medicine, this type of health regimen. You saying it's all BS. And here I am in my 50s. I guess it's just a matter of lifestyle and poor habit. Is that it, Sadon?
Well, I think it's partly just trying to appear masculine. Number one, when you're in a room and, guys are ordering chicken wings and they're ordering beers and they're doing shots, a lot of men don't want to say, well, no, I'm good. I'll pass on the chicken wings. I'm trying to watch my weight. For me, really, I had to stop going out for a while, because I just wasn't strong enough to sit there and watch somebody else drink beers and wings. So you have to really, for at least a little while, till you get your strength, separate yourself. But it's just not manly. But the flip side of that is when you start talking about the cholesterols and the high blood pressures and these medications and the side effects of these medications, now you're putting yourself in a situation where your wife is at her peak and you're on your decline. Your kids are getting older, your grandkids are coming around, and you can't take care of them. You can't play with them. You can't shoot baskets with them. So all of these fantasies that you had of when you finally got to the point where you were going to retire or take some time off, that stuff, man, it's going out the window because you're not taking care of your health. I mean, even, with the meat, the meats and getting gout and things like that, that stuff's running rampant in our community.
It is. Yes, it is. And it makes me wonder, I guess the threat of death or the threat of you will lose your sex drive are the only two things that make men turn around, because really, other than me being diagnosed with leukemia, I don't have any other health issues. Every time I talk to my doctor, I mean, I do have the 50-year-old aches and pains. I do believe as a result of the cancer medicine that I was on is the reason why I have the musculoskeletal situation going on. But as far as, high blood pressure or diabetes, any of that, I don't have that. I thank God for that. But I do think that a lot of my brothers, they may be displacing in their life. You know what I'm saying? And that, as you said, more sedentary, now that the children are out of the house, that might be where that problem sets place. But otherwise, no, I thank God I don't have any other, and now during this pandemic, the doctor has given me something for my body pain. And he said, it could cause you not to, want to do the wah-wah no more. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to take this or not. But then we're in a pandemic, so I can chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And not only that, Chad, but, we're living longer now. And, a lot of, baby boomers, especially, that money that they saved up, most of that money's going toward medications now.
Yeah. Yes.
So anything that, I can offer in regard to diet and, mental conditioning, exercise, I want to offer it and let people know, which is why, we're talking about it tonight, because men don't talk about it.
So Don, what, not to cut you off again, but what was the first step that you took? I know it was hard, but what was the first major thing you changed and you started to see the results yourself?
Well, the first thing I did was I joined the gym. And I started going, because we join them all the time. Everybody's got a gym membership, but nobody goes. A lot of times, as men, we're afraid, that we go to the gym and we don't look like we used to look, or we're not as strong as we used to be. And that part right there, you go in the gym and, last time you were in the gym, you were 25 and you were a lot better shape. So for me, I had to really just come to terms and say, well, no matter how I look, if I got to get on this little bicycle over here, or I can only lift this much weight, I'm gonna do it. And know that with each time I go, I'm gonna get a little bit better, a little bit stronger. But the first thing was just really getting over the idea that people were gonna be staring at me and really focusing on trying to live.
Look, when people stare at me, I be just like, oh, they're admiring how sexy I am. That's all. Because you can't let other people deter you from being your optimal best. What about food? What was the first thing that you let go and said bye-bye to? Because I don't know if you know this or not, but I had gastric bypass surgery many years ago. And
I did not know that.
Yes. So that is, I used to be 360 pounds and I had gastric bypass surgery. And the one thing that was the biggest hurdle for me was saying goodbye to certain foods and how I would eat those certain foods. So what foods did you eliminate, and how was the elimination of those certain foods?
Well, the first thing I stopped drinking was orange juice, fruit juice, all of those, Arizona iced teas, pop, that kind of stuff, because, that stuff's filled with sugar.
Right.
And, as a man, when your body's trying to process these sugars, it makes it harder for you to enjoy, your evening, for lack of a better way to put it. So that was the first thing: the pops, the orange juices, the high C, all of that stuff that you get out of fast food. And then from there, I gradually got to the point where I started to give up meat. And, I went for a really long period of time, with no meat, no bread, none of those things. But, what I would tell somebody, who's thinking about doing it is it's okay to fail, because really what you're learning when you first start is how to lose the weight. So every failure is just you saying, okay, well, that doesn't work for me. Okay, I tried the Atkins, that didn't work. Or I tried the keto, that didn't work. I tried intermittent fasting. And then you'll find the things that work for you. And once you get the right combination of stuff, now you know how to lose weight. But in the beginning, it's just trial and error. So look at it as trial and error. And when you fail or you don't get the result that you want, go back and review and say, okay, why didn't I get the result that I wanted? Did I not stick to my diet? Did I not work out enough? Or is it that I'm just not gauging it by the right amount of time? Because usually, we want to lose 100 pounds in 30 days. But, realistically, maybe you're losing 2 or 3 pounds a week if you're doing good.
How long did it take you to start noticing that you were losing the weight? See, for me, it took me a minute. I lost 130 pounds in 6 months.
Wow.
But here's the deal. I did not realize I had lost that amount of weight until I went to put on a pair of dress pants. And when I went to put the dress pants on, I buttoned them, went to walk away, and they fell down and I tripped and fell. And that was my indication that I had lost that much weight. I didn't know I had lost that much weight, because to me, I still thought I looked the same, but I had lost 130 pounds in 6 months and as a result of my surgery.
Well, it was about the same thing for me, because I wasn't really, taking a bunch of pictures. I wasn't getting on the scale a lot. I was just focusing on getting my day right, making sure that I ate right, making sure that I got my walk in, making sure that I drank plenty of water, and just trying to repeat that as many days in a row as I could. And then one day I looked up and I was smaller. The clothes didn't fit the same, and I actually had a client and we took a picture, and I looked at the picture and I was like, wow, that's me. So really, it was more, what I noticed more than anything is I just became more ambitious. My energy level went up, and, my excitement, went up, among other things going up.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that's kind of how, the sex part of it came into it, is that I started to realize that, man, I'm, a lot more passionate, for lack of a better word.
A lot more virile. More virile. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And, for men at home, I mean, you in your 40s, there's nothing better, than the lustful look of of someone that you're attracted to.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes, I agree. I agree.
You know, well, I mean, I'm sure you get that all the time, chat. But you know, for me, you know, I wasn't used to being in the grocery store, or being in the lines at Walmart, and getting, you know, somebody flirting with me, you know, that's, you know, probably half my age.
Well,
so,
on behalf of those that love people half my age, accept it, brother. It's a beautiful thing. You know, daddies are in nowadays, and I don't mean in the freaky, kinky way, but you know, older, mature men who have themselves together. The younger demographic is definitely looking for that and looking at that. So take that as a compliment. And as you said, here you are in the grocery store line, and somebody younger is flirting with you, bruh. That's what you want more than anything.
I'll take it. You know, but really what we're trying to get to as a whole, chat, is just, you know, grown folks being financially healthy, spiritually healthy, psychologically healthy, and physically healthy. You know, because, you know, we're looking at our parents, you know, and our parents have worked hard for these companies, and now the retirement really didn't do what they thought it was going to do, because, you know, they thought they were going to walk into the sunset. And now we're finding out that 401k and Medicare and all of these different things just aren't adding up to the quality of life that they thought it would. And one of the major reasons that it isn't is health.
Right.
You know, and, you know, that's what we're trying to get to. You know, I want to see, you know, healthy men, you know, who are able to live long, healthy lives. I mean, my mentors, the guys in their 70s, and they'll tell you, I don't take no pills.
Right. No, no. My mentor and my surrogate dad, God rest his soul, he was a gentleman in his early 80s, and he was healthy, used to run, walk miles and miles, travel globally. And he was the one that said to me, look, son, I ain't on nothing. I need you to hurry up and get up off of this medicine. And what we have got to realize as Black men is that medicine is not good for us.
Not at all.
Yeah, I'm the type of person that if I am sick and down and out, I guarantee you, if you give me some type of medicine, give me at least 4 or 5 days. If the medicine is working for me, I don't need that medicine anymore until that problem happens again. But a lot of brothers have to get up every day and take a high blood pressure pill, which, gentlemen, that kills your erection. The diabetes medicine will kill your erection. If you're on antidepressants, that will kill your drive. Oh, absolutely. There are certain drugs that will kill your drive. So the one thing that I try to do is not kill my drive or kill my vibe. Those are two things that I'm shooting for, bro.
Absolutely. And, you know, I mean, there's nothing worse, but that being a healthy man and not being able to perform to the level that you would like.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, if that's not what you're into, then so be it. But if it is, then, you know, there are things you can do, like losing the weight, you know, like going to see a therapist, you know, to work out some of those childhood traumas and things of that nature that create a lot of that anxiety, and not just taking the medications, you know, because the medications, not only, you know, they have tons of side effects, they don't really cure the situations. You know, when I was diagnosed with diabetes, they wasn't trying to cure me. They was trying to get $200 a month out of me to die slow.
How has your diabetes been since you've lost your weight?
Numbers are great. I'll tell you a quick story because I know we're almost out of time.
No, we good. Go right ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, went to the doctor. And she said, well, are you taking the medications? I said, no, I'm not taking the medications. So immediately her face frowned up, and, you know, she went to reprimand me. And I said, well, the nutritionist said if my numbers were below this, not to take the medication. And I've consistently been below this number. I know you haven't. So she looks at my chart. She sees that at that time I lost about 25 pounds. My numbers were great. And at that point, I was moving to the point where I was kind of like pre-diabetic, you know, at least in that A1C for my diabetics was about 5.8, which had come down from 9.8. So they realized at that point they couldn't make no money off me. You know, so my visits became shorter and shorter. Yeah, they were happy that I was doing better, but they didn't really want to see me do better because that was taking money out of their pocket. So now they want to run some new tests and try to find something else to take, money out of my pocket. When I pulled up at the doctor's office, there were Benzes and G-Wagons and drop-top Jaguars. That money, the money that they're getting for those beautiful cars comes from us.
That's right.
And as black men, we giving them too much of our money.
Mm-hmm.
And, we need to be here. We need to be here for our families. We need to be here for our children. We need to be here for our spouses and partners. That's important. So I just want to help people live a long, full, healthy life.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree with you more. Great job, my friend. Well, we want to remind every gentleman who is over 40, it is important that you gentlemen get some form of exercise in every day, whether, it's cardio, a little weightlifting. If you're at the point, where you might have some issues going on, the way I get my exercise, Sadan, is that even during this global pandemic, I feel like this. If I walk around an entire Menard store, that's exercise. If I walk around an entire Walmart or a big box store, and that's what I tend to do, is to walk around that, park the car further away and walk and get that exercise, but get those 10,000 steps in a day. Another thing, gentlemen, we want to remind you to get 3 meals a day in. Make sure you're eating a good meal each and every day. Remember, your protein should be no bigger than the fist of your hand. Make sure you get a lot of green leafy vegetables, fruit in. Be careful of fruit. Fruit does hold a lot of sugar. Cut back on your starches, and make sure you eat healthy snacks. Snacks that have great fat, like almonds, avocados, things like that. Sardines are always a good choice. Like when I get off the air tonight, I probably will eat some sardines, but that's important as well too. And then, gentlemen, take care of yourself. One of the biggest things that once we are over 40, we start to lose our hair, our elasticity tends to not be where it needs to be. And women go through these same issues as well. But gentlemen, take care of yourself. Stay groomed up. Keep yourself current and trendy. A lot of y'all don't need to put them damn skinny jeans on. I learned that lesson. My ass was smushed. But try to keep yourself relevant after the age of 40. And who knows? You'll continue to move in the right direction of healthiness. What else do you want to add to that, brother?
Well, first of all, you want to make sure you get your water in. Maybe you can't get to the point where you're drinking a gallon a day, but you at least want to get to the point where you're drinking, 5 to 6 cups of water a day. As far as your walking goes, start out with just 10-minute walks. The best time to take a walk is right after you have a meal. So anybody who's dealing with diabetes or something like that, if you eat at 12, as soon as you get up from that table, take a 10-minute walk. That'll help that food process. It'll keep your numbers down. As far as snacks and things like that go, you want to try to eat food. That's one of the things that in our community we've kind of gotten away from. Our generation, chat, we didn't go to McDonald's. We didn't go to the gas station. We ate real food. Right. Right. So try to limit your foods to 1 or 2 ingredients at the most. You do better if you're eating an apple or you're eating some grapes or you're eating a banana, but eat real food. If you make some potatoes, eat real potatoes. Don't buy the spuds. Don't go, out and get a bunch of things that have ingredients. I mean, I've never seen a cornflake tree.
Right. You ain't never seen a cornflake tree?
I've never seen a cornflake tree.
You ain't been over to Battle Creek, Michigan, where all them cornflake trees are growing and all them Cocoa Puff trees and Fruit Loop trees. Man, you have not traveled, brother. You didn't know that Fruit Loops grew on trees.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up. But all my research says that there are no cornflake trees or Fruit Loop trees or any of those trees. So the one thing I definitely would say, chat, is just make sure it's food. Because now more than ever, we're eating chips and crunchy curls and, stuff that does not grow on a tree. It's stuff created in the lab. So, I mean, you wouldn't just continually eat pieces of paper. So why do you continually eating these Fritos and Cheetos and stuff like that? Because your body doesn't know what to do with it. And because your body doesn't know what to do with it, it stores it in the fat cells. So now, even if you are doing great on losing the weight, it's holding you back every time you eat something that your body doesn't know what to do with.
You are absolutely right. So we're trying to let you guys know, eat as much fruit and vegetables as possible. Get your water intake in. What I try to do is drink at least half of this, if not more, while we're on the air. And I'll try to finish this tonight before I go to bed. Another thing is make sure you guys get your exercise in. One of our guests just said she just finished 3 miles while listening to my show tonight. Tamlin, we love you, Tamlin. We appreciate you. That's beautiful. At least she's using my show as entertainment, as she's walking. We appreciate you so much, and good luck to you on that. Sadan, what else do you want these people to know about this journey over 40? And again, I'm so proud of you. I don't know what to do. You're going to be in them skinny jeans by December. I got a bunch of them over here that I've only worn once. So you can come get them and you can be Mr. Skinny Jeans.
No, thank you, sir. No, thank you. Skinny jeans. My pants will still be hitting, the top of my shoe. You won't see my ankles.
I love
it. My suit jackets will still come down below my hip.
I'm trying to make you trendy. I'm trying to make that 25-year-old want you. That's what I'm trying to do.
Classic man.
Yeah, classic man. Yes, I appreciate that.
Hey, so trust me, if it's timeless and vintage, you'll probably see me in it.
Yes.
So, but as far as the journey goes, I want people to be on the lookout. The book's coming out at Christmas. It's called Just Like a Rock. That's the name of the book. Sex and health tips for men over 40. It's the perfect book for somebody if they're suffering with sleep apnea, if they're suffering with diabetes, high blood pressure, they have any kind of psychological issues and anxieties. That's the perfect book because I'm going to share my whole journey. I'm going to share all the things that I've done to revive my physical abilities and the things that I've learned as a man on how to be desirable to that woman or man half your age. So it's not just going to be health in regard to run like this or jump like this. There's also going to be some psychological components to help us get the mental conditioning that we need to be good partners and good lovers and good friends to the people that we're engaged with. Because as a man, you want to be able to have a quality relationship with somebody. And when you get that real good connection, that make the love making a whole lot better. It makes the interactions and friendship a whole lot better. And at this point in life, that's what you want.
Yep.
And then the other thing is, anybody out there who's watching this may watch it tomorrow, you're not alone. There are thousands of men, millions of men around the country. 50% of men, have some kind of problem, and during the course of their lives. That number goes up by 15 to 20% as you get over 40. So 7 out of 10 men in their lifetime are going to have, some kind of performance problem. So don't think that, it's just you. Make sure you get your prostate checked out. Make sure you keep your doctor's visits. Take some of that money and go to a therapist, because a healthy whole version of you is the best you. And, that's really what you want. I mean, long life. And that's it. You just want a long, healthy life, where you're mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially, all those needs are met. I mean, that's it. And if you are healthy, that's the best wealth you could get.
Yes, I could not agree with you more. Sadan, my biggest thing in my entire life is that, Lord, when down there die out, it's going to be a lot of slow song singing and flower writing. So I try to preserve my, as long as I can, because, it's important, especially, if you're not in a committed relationship, you're not married. There's nothing worse than somebody meeting somebody who they think is great. They love them or could fall in love with them. And then you have an issue that they cannot perform anymore. And so you've got to relook at the whole dynamics of that relationship. And so you're right. It's important for men to have that vitality and it not be chemically induced, and that it's a natural, hormone and serotonin. Is that correct? Serotonin of you wanting to, perform at your best abilities, with your partner.
Yeah, and not only that, but I mean, the pill it'll make you able to perform, but it won't make you more attractive. It won't make you more confident. Mm-hmm. There's still other parts of sexuality and being, appealing to the other person that, the pill can't do anything about. It can't make you a more confident man. Mm-hmm. To where now, you're fun to be around and your energy level is good. Because even, if it does work, you're no fun to be around. Now what? You're alone.
Right. Right.
And so we don't just want to rely on the fact that it works. We want to be able to get partners that we choose and that choose us and that we are happy with, mm-hmm. Because, at this point in your life, you don't want to have to settle, for what, somebody else is willing to give you. You want to position yourself to be with a partner, that honors you and you honor them, mm-hmm. even if that person in your case is probably half your age.
Yeah. Yes. Hello. Yes. All right. Don't rub it in. Yes. Brother Sadan Long, tell us how we can find you, follow you on all your social media platforms. You've done an outstanding job, brother, and really very proud of your weight loss. Just proud of the fact that you're being open and honest about where you've been and where you really want to go. God bless you on that.
Okay. Well, two things real quick. One, it's easy to talk about something that you've been able to gain control of. So I want to, tell people that there's another side to it, that just because where you are right now, it's not where you're going to be. So you just want to keep working at it. So in regard to that, just one day at a time. Now, how do you find me? Follow me. I am Sadan Long. That's Sadon, Long, Long. That's on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, as well as Facebook. Also, I run a Facebook page called Digital Marketing for Women. So if you are a business owner who needs to market their business but don't know what to say or do, go to Digital Marketing for Women. You can hit the contact button and that'll get you half an hour with me in regard to my ability to do my job. Like you said, my clients generated over, $5 million last year. I had a client that just texted me today. They were up $35,000 this month. So wow. I'm excited. We got some other really great stuff coming out with CEO Corey Elliott. We're writing a book called Pivot with her. And I also got another book coming out with millionaire Dwayne Rancifer, aka Mr. Flip the Hood. So there'll be about 4 books dropping for Christmas, that either I'll be writing or co-writing. So in the meantime, if you're interested and need any help, I still got a little bit of time left. And Christmas is right around the corner, and it's important. So that's Sadan Long, Sadon Long.
All right. Well, Brother Sadan, you've done a phenomenal job tonight. I really appreciate you being here, despite our technical difficulties.
I know.
I think that's all right. Look, again, whenever I'm looking at morning news, they are having problems and issues. They'll be talking to major celebrities, and the celebrity will be freezing up. The audio will be freezing up. So I just thank God I'm able to do what I do on this platform until I'm able to get on a national network platform. But don't worry. Yes, it is. Great job. Well, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of my co-host tonight, Mr. Sadan Long, not only was he my co-host, but he was our guest this evening. Great information for men over 40 about living life and living your best health. We also want to thank famed attorney Cannon Lambert Sr. He did an outstanding job tonight. We just love and appreciate him for what he's done for us, keeping us informed about such cases as the Sandra Bland case, George Floyd. Also, he dropped dope knowledge at the end of his interview about what we need to do if we're ever pulled over by the police. I know that was designed for young people, but hell, I'm gonna do it as an older person. And look, Saddam,
Me
I'm
too.
glad you know keep the sunroof open. Just joke, keep the sunroof open, right? So that you don't get busted.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So you guys tune in for the Wednesday show. Sharon Rowe is our guest co-host tomorrow night. We welcome the editor-in-chief of Cancer Wellness Magazine. We're going to talk about developments in the world of cancer, healthy and safe, all that cancer, or who have cancer. And then tomorrow, will be here tomorrow to talk to us about shedding that extra 15 to 20 pounds. Am I freezing up again? Am I freezing up, Saddam?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna sign off. I don't know what the issue and problem is tonight. I'm gonna let our server know. But thank you guys so very much. Do me a favor, go to YouTube and subscribe to The Real Chat Daddy Show. Also Facebook, The Real Chat Daddy Show. And do me a favor, stop by my website. Yes, please stop by therealchatdaddy.com. All right, may you guys have a wonderful evening. Want to remind everyone to please wear your mask. Wear your mask. Come on, Saddam. Yep, wear your mask. There you go. Please wear your mask. Very good. All right, you so skinny now, your mask too big. All right, there you go. Sanitize. Make sure you guys keep your hands clean. Wash your hands. Do the right thing. Sanitize. Make sure you social distance. And you know what we always say on this show: you don't have to go anywhere. Keep your ass in the house. Keep your ass in the house. All right. Have a good night. Good night, you guys. Good night, everybody. Good night. Before we leave. Great show. We have an internet trouble for real tonight. What else we got? Enjoyed the show tonight. Any of these popping up? Boy, I gotta let them know we having huge problems tonight. Hold on. Good night, you guys.